Welcome to CareCast, CareNet's podcast on family, faith, and life with Roland Warren, CareNet's president and CEO, and Vincent DiCaro, CareNet's chief outreach officer. CareCast and more pro-abundant life commentary from CareNet can be found at care-net.org, where you can watch videos, download ebooks, and subscribe to the Abundant Life blog. Now let's listen in on what Roland and Vince have for us this week on CareCast.
Roland, hello and good morning to you.
Greetings and salutations.
It's almost not even the morning anymore.
No, we got
a late start today.
Got a late start.
Banker's hours.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, speak for yourself. I've been up since 5 o'clock.
Oh man.
PM.
That's right. Since last night. Yeah. You slept all day yesterday, but hey, you've been awake. Yeah.
Why waste the best part of the day awake?
That's right. That's true.
You should sleep. You should sleep during the day, and then
stay awake at night.
Why would you give your best hours to awakeness? You should give your best hours to sleep.
Yeah. I only have about 1 good hour per day, so I'm not. I have to spend it wisely. It's like at 11 a.m. It's pretty much, yeah. I'm awake enough, but I'm not tired yet.
Yeah, and you get all your work done from 11 a.m. to 12.
It's it. And then I eat lunch, and then I'm done for the day. Yes. I probably shouldn't be telling you this because you're my boss. And,
I'll remember that when review time. I'll remember, because, again, this is all on tape.
It is. Even if I take it back, it's
on tape.
You can just play that.
And then it's going to be on the internet where it lives forever.
Forever and ever. That's
forever.
True. That's
true.
Yeah. Speaking of things that we actually want to live forever and ever on the internet.
Yes.
We recently published, CareNet, we recently published what we call our Community Savings Report.
Yes.
Which is a report that we release every year that shows the value of all the free services that CareNet's network of pregnancy centers provided in the previous year.
Yes.
So CareNet has a network of over 1,300,
yes,
about 1,320 pregnancy centers nationally. I think 1,325, I believe.
And growing. With 68 mobile
units as part of that. ICU mobile.
That's separate.
That's right.
That are now a part of our affiliate network.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
so it's been
amazing.
It's been pretty amazing.
I feel like we've added nearly 100 new affiliates just in the last year, roughly.
Yeah, I know. It's been really fantastic to see that, and certainly as we've really leaned into sort of this pro-abundant life way of talking about the issue, and God's design for family, God's call to discipleship. Pregnancy centers just growing in terms of how they're ministering to people facing pregnancy decisions.
Absolutely.
Having a fuller, a framework in terms of what they're doing. Just amazing.
It's just a huge motivation for pregnancy centers to understand the fight that they're in, and to really just be encouraged and motivated and gospel driven really in their work. And it's made such it's a vision that folks are really, really catching on to. So it's been really encouraging to see that.
Yeah, and we often talk about gospel presentations over 1.1 million lives saved.
We've saved over 1.1 million lives since 2008.
Yeah, 2008 and 2.3 gospel presentations.
2.3 million gospel.
Yeah, so we talk about that quite a bit, but we don't talk about as much is the community impact. And just we are so blessed to have an opportunity to partner with these pregnancy centers.
Right.
In communities that are just doing amazing work.
Yeah, and actually, folks, you could find this very colorful, great report actually on our website. So if you go to care-net.org and go to the blog, you will find a blog post that covers this information. And so just to sort of summarize what this report is showing is that in 2024, calendar year 2024, CareNet pregnancy centers offered $143 million in free services to their communities.
Yep.
Just a remarkable number.
Health services, emotional and social support, material support, educational support, and then opportunities, because every year we do a scholarship in partnership with the Regent University.
That's right.
We'll take one of the clients from an affiliated pregnancy center, and they get a full four-year
scholarship.
We've been doing that for years and years and years. So it's just been amazing. And just, the growth in volunteers. I think we're close to 65,000 volunteers now, and over 528,000 donors who are supporting the affiliated pregnancy centers as well. In terms of, it's an amazing move of God.
Yeah, it really sure is. It really is a movement and not just, an incidental thing that's happening out there. Just to break down some of the numbers here, which are great. Again, you mentioned health services. So out of that 143.5 million, The exact number is in the report here, but it would take a really long time to say the whole number.
Yeah.
And actually, the amount of time I just took saying that, I could have just said the whole number. But
that's true. It's a good point.
Anyway, but health services, $54 million in free health services, $39 million in emotional and social support.
Yeah, that's a client advocate work that we do.
Right, exactly. Yeah. Almost $31 million in material support. So
diapers.
Diapers, car seats, strollers,
yes,
clothing, all that stuff. Almost $20 million in educational support, so parenting classes and other forms of education.
For women and men. Yeah, we're doing that.
Yeah, and then we mentioned the full ride Regent scholarship, which is worth almost $76,000.
Yep. Amazing.
Yeah, and so those services at that $143 million value were delivered to 452,781 women and men last year.
Yes.
An amazing number again.
It's just crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, when you think about the impact of that, and it's interesting because a lot of times, you'll hear on the pro-choice side, people they just care about saving the baby, they don't care about anything else. And again, obviously that's kind of a straw man argument because we know it's much broader than that. That's just the first step in the process. But they don't want to talk about this stuff.
Right.
The fact that the affiliated pregnancy centers are a net positive to this nation because of the free support that they provide, how we kind of alleviate the social services burden for so many local communities, and all the work that we do in that regard, and how we're strengthening families in so many communities, and we again, regardless of race or age or anything, frankly, we just go out and
lovingly
just do
serve.
Lovingly serve. And so that's one of the things for me that just gives me so much satisfaction. Certainly when I'm at our conference, and I get a chance to give a keynote at our conference every year, and just looking out, over to I guess last year we had close to 1,800 people at our conference, but just all those folks, everyday heroes that are in communities, knee to knee with women and men facing pregnancy decisions. So the narrative of you don't care about anything, it's ridiculous, and I would say this, that when you look at the grassroots support that we have, that's really the power of the pregnancy center movement, right? Sure. The connection of pregnancy centers, and particularly as we continue to emphasize with a pro-abundant life perspective, we don't just want to meet them with their physical needs, we also want to connect them to the local church that can be disciples, right? Because the classic maybe pro-life perspective that some people would have is that we just kind of want to treat them and street them, right? We save the baby and just send them back, and then we know that when that happens, too often we'll see her again 18 months with another pregnancy, or see someone her daughter got pregnant in 18 years, or see someone her son got pregnant in 18 years. Right. That's not ministry. That's retail. That's business.
Right.
That's
kind of a retail model. Yeah,
it's a retail model. Thank you, come again. But a transformational model, that's a relationship building model, means that you're meeting her and him at their point of need, and then you're helping them form a relationship not only with each other to build a strong family, but also to become disciples for Jesus Christ. That's a holistic way of doing it, and that's why we call that being pro-abundant life, modeled after what Jesus did. Which was he met people at their physical need and then called them into a spiritual relationship. If we're going to model the work that we do after that, so this is focusing on like the physical need, meaning the physical need here, but it's not all that CareNet affiliated pregnancy centers do.
Yeah, and what the feedback we've gotten from so many of our affiliates and so many pregnancy centers who have chosen to affiliate with CareNet is that this approach is actually so refreshing for them, because as you mentioned, kind of that more retail or transactional approach, this idea of compassion fatigue starts to set in, that the pregnancy centers, the people who are working there, volunteering there, staffing those pregnancy centers, they start to get tired because they serve somebody, like you said, treat them and street them, and then that person's back a year later, and then they help them choose life again, and then they're back a year later, and they help them choose, and that can become very, very emotionally and spiritually taxing for folks. But this pro-abundant life model, as you mentioned, if you could start that transformational process with that client, get them connected to a local church, get them the parenting education, get them the other resources that they need to make that a holistic approach to serving that client, then they're far less likely to come back in a year with another unplanned pregnancy. And it's actually it's reinvigorated our centers around this work, and they feel like, okay, now we have this goal that we know we're going towards, right? And we're getting local churches involved, and they're actually helping us serve clients and do good for clients. And of course, at the end of the day, what this actually ends up doing is actually saving more babies from abortion,
Of course.
because you're breaking the cycle.
I know, and that's why the simplistic kind of reductionist way of looking at it, just in terms of that perspective that's more of a retail model. Actually, you actually end up with more abortions.
Yeah, for sure.
You end up with more unplanned pregnancies. You end up with more single mothers, which we know are the poorest demographic, and also, frankly, those mothers and then their children are much more likely to have unplanned pregnancies, which makes them more likely
to seek abortion.
That's why 87% of the women that have abortions are unmarried.
Yeah.
Right. So it really, this is again part of that whole framework of being bios. This is the bios, the physical life stuff that these amazing pregnancy centers do. And then there's the Zoe part, which is the spiritual transformation, which helping clients get connected to the church for ongoing support and discipleship. While the pregnancy center starts with evangelism, we want to connect them to the church for ongoing support and discipleship. And look, if you look at any other setting, right, take away pregnancy center, but let's say just make it personal. Like you've got a family member who's got a drug problem, right, has a drug addiction problem that's been an issue, it's been ongoing. And then you put them into, some kind of setting, rehab, right, or something like that, and they come out, and then 2 weeks later they're back on drugs again, and then they come to you again. I mean, how are you feeling in that moment? I mean, I know what we're called to do, but gosh, okay, we put them back in rehab again, and then they come back, and now they're back on drugs again. I mean, but imagine if you put them into that setting and then they're transformed and they become different. And the next thing you know, next time you talk to them, not only have they kicked the habit, if you will, and have transformed their life, but they're now counseling and ministering to other people who are drug addicts. So instead of being a repeat client, what they are is they're meeting people at their point of need, right? And they're ministering and helping other folks. So they come back and you say, hey, thanks so much for what you did, but here's 2 folks that I have helped get off drugs.
That's right.
Which one of those perspectives is life-giving?
Yeah.
For you.
Yeah,
I mean,
sure.
Yeah.
And that's actually, we see that happening.
Yes.
Quite a bit. Especially, and this is going to be a topic for another podcast coming very soon, which is First Baptist Orlando.
Yeah.
Which is seeing that because it's a pregnancy, the First Brace Pregnancy Center was established on the campus of the church. And what they're seeing is that the people who are served by the pregnancy center and then become members of the church are then going back to serve at the pregnancy center because they were transformed, because there's that full discipleship model that's being played out in terms of the church and the pregnancy center working together.
Yeah, so, absolutely. And if you're an executive director at a pregnancy center, I've been to many of them, and they are, I tell you, one of the most satisfying moments that they have, and they communicate, say, you see Sally over there? She was one of our clients.
Yep.
And now she's a receptionist. Now she's a client advocate. Now and I've even talked to center directors who were clients at one point and are now running the center.
That's right. Absolutely.
I mean, talking about life-giving, I mean, wow.
Wow. Amazing stuff.
So that's what we're trying to accomplish with the pro-abundant life framework. And that's frankly, that's what it accomplishes. That's why Christ said, I came that you might have life and have it abundantly. Not just life.
Right.
But abundant life.
That's right.
It's not transactional, it's transformational. And so
sure.
when we get this data that talks about just the amazing work that our affiliated pregnancy centers are doing, it just, I tell you, it really helps. And I love the title of the report, Helping Communities Flourish.
Flourish, that's right.
That's right. Not just survive, but flourish.
Yes,
flourish.
Absolutely.
In terms of what's happening.
And that's abundance, right?
That's
flourishing and abundance. Yeah, and so again, here's that awesome report. I was going to say it's all here in black and white, but it's actually quite colorful. And so thanks to our graphic design team. And so, care-net.org, click on blog, and you will find a post in which you can actually access all of this great information about just the amazing impact that CareNet's network of now 1,325 pregnancy centers are accomplishing.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you, Roland.
Cool. Great.
We hope you enjoyed this episode of CareCast. For more pro-abundant life commentary and practical resources, please visit care-net.org. There you can subscribe to the Abundant Life blog, giving you access to videos, ebooks, podcasts, and other resources to help turn your pro-life passion into pro-abundant life action. Until next time, we pray that God blesses you and yours daily.